So that's everything you could ever want to know about how we're going to use halflings for food. Oh, hello there! I'm Joshua Drescher, and this week's production podcast is going to be a little bit different. We're going to do it instructional video style, and over the coming weeks, we're going to do more videos like this to introduce you to some of the more nuanced elements of Warhammer Online: Age of Reckoning. Let's take a look at a conflict we've become very familiar with over the last few months, the Greenskins versus the Dwarfs. Here we see the section of the Warhammer world dedicated to this conflict. Each racial pairing will have a similar chunk of the Warhammer world laid out in roughly the same way. Each one of these zones is controlled by one race or the other. Dwarfs initially controlled these zones. Greenskins control these. This is going to get confusing if we continue representing the map this way, so let's simplify things. Players will start out in a beginning zone, Tier 1, Ekron for the Dwarfs, and Mount Bloodhorn for the Greenskins. Here you will begin to hone your skills and learn the ways of your career. The Tier 2 zones are the Port of Barrack Var for the Dwarfs, and the Marshes of Madness for the Greenskins. Tier 3 has the Badlands for the Greenskins, and Blackfire Pass for the Dwarfs. Tier 4 is the final and most challenging tier of gameplay. For the Dwarfs, it consists of Cadron Valley and the capital city of Karaza Carrick. For the Greenskins, it holds Blackcrag and the captured city of Eight Peaks. Between these final areas lies Thunder Mountain, a set of zones initially in neither side's control. While this all looks very pretty, you might be asking, where's the war? In Warhammer Online, war is everywhere. Each tier is connected in conflict. From the first day you play the game, you will be able, if you so choose, to join the realm versus realm conflict in your own starting zone, or travel to your enemy's starting zone and join the conflict there. In fact, let's take a look at a Tier 1 zone, the Greenskin starting area of Mount Bloodhorn. We'll need a player naturally, that's good. Every zone has a mix of PvE and RVR content. Players from enemy realms will not be able to engage you as long as you don't cross into the RVR areas. If you do, however, you're fair game. So if you stay out of the RVR areas, you will be able to travel all the way to your capital city. As you fight, your experience will grant you more skills and abilities, enabling you to travel to higher tiers and be more effective. But each tier gets more and more dangerous, making your survival, even in PvE areas, harder and harder. Early tiers are mostly PvE with some RVR. As you progress, the tiers become mostly RVR with some PvE. You aren't forced to RVR if you don't want to. In fact, it will be entirely possible to reach Tier 4 through PvE gameplay alone, but the easiest method for advancing will be a combination of both. That explains how the zones are laid out, connected, and played, but there is an additional layer of gameplay to talk about: Battlefronts. Initially, these zones are evenly controlled. Each tier is, in fact, a battlefront. As you fight in RVR, you gain victory points. Earn enough of these victory points, and your realm will gain control of that battlefront. Each tier has its own unique battlefront, but a percentage of victory points from Tier 1 spill over into Tier 2. Likewise, a percentage of victory points from Tier 2 spill over into Tier 3. So your victory points in lower tiers increase your points in upper tiers. This is part of what we mean when we say war is everywhere. Even low-level players in Tier 1 will ultimately be contributing to the overall war effort. As you can see, it all leads to Tier 4. And as you might have guessed, victory points from Tier 3 spill over here as well. This tier is where you will struggle for the ultimate prize, capturing your enemy's city. Tier 4 is the final battlefront. To open a city to attack, you will first have to capture the neutral zone in the center, in this case, Thunder Mountain. Once you have enough victory points to control that zone, its scenarios will lock down, and scenarios in your enemy's Tier 4 zone will open up, allowing your realm to attack that zone. This makes Tier 4 a constant struggle for the battlefront. If your enemies hold the line, they can push the front back to the neutral zone. If they continue to gain victories, they will open up your own Tier 4 zone to attack. However, let's continue. If you gain enough victory points to control your enemy's Tier 4 zone, the enemy's city itself will become open to attack. If that attack is successful, then the controlling realm will be able to sack the city. You will not be able to hold onto your enemy's city indefinitely. Systems will be in place that will eventually wrest control of the cities back to their rightful owners. When this happens, the conflict will begin again. So that's it for this production podcast. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.